So with that, Jay, let's talk a little quarterback action.
Yeah.
Brissett, no calls, and Deshaun, will he be Deshaun again this year?
Let's go to Jason for the Brissett no calls, because we really haven't talked about that on the show. Yesterday we talked about the fact that we thought that they would be calling. What do you have on that?
I talked to Diana Russini, who works with us at The Athletic. Asked Diana if she would reach out to Washington.
Very plugged in Washington, by the way, she is.
And she said, I already have, and Browns haven't called.
Yeah.
So that tells me Brissett's not happening. And I wrote that the other day. If you're going to make the Jacoby move, you make it now. Like, you call him Sunday night, Monday. You get him here Tuesday, pass a physical, get on the practice field Wednesday. He plays Sunday. That's the beauty of Jacoby. That's one of the big pluses of him. He's a plug-and-play guy. You trade for him Monday, he can play on Sunday. But the fact that they haven't called yet tells me they're not going to, and they're going to roll with what they've got.
Now, they could always, see more of P.J. Walker on Sunday that they've already seen.
Yeah.
And come to the conclusion that, this probably isn't going to be a long-term bridge.
But they should know that already.
There's
There's nothing that should happen on that field Sunday that should sway you one way or the other. You know it. Now, the hope is, and I mentioned this before we started on the show, PJ's had, I think, 4 practices prior to this week. He had the full week of San Francisco, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And he had Wednesday last week before Deshaun came back Thursday, Friday. So he's had 4 practices, essentially. Right. And now with a full week this week, maybe he could be incrementally better. But you know what he is. There should be nothing that happens on that field Sunday that says, oh, my God, can you believe that? We got to get somebody else in here.
The couple of practices he had this week isn't going to turn him into this, all of a sudden perfect answer at quarterback.
It's obviously a small sample size this season, and in his career he hasn't played a ton. But he's been the worst quarterback in the NFL this year. Not amongst the worst. He's been the worst quarterback in the league. So incrementally better is not good enough.
Agreed.
And if the Browns don't do anything to address this position, which so far they have done absolutely nothing, obviously, but sit on their hands, it's a disgrace. I have defended Kevin Stefanski, and to some degree I've defended Andrew Berry. If they sit on their hands and have to go with PJ, this idea that, we're gonna get Deshaun back here, they have to do business as if Deshaun Watson's not going to play the rest of the year. And if he does, fine. If he can, great. But you have to do business right now as if he's not going to play, because you sat him for a month and he looked completely useless when he went on the field. So what's another couple of weeks going to do?
Well, it's a 4 to 6 week injury, and he said yesterday that's just a framework. That doesn't mean that's necessarily the case. The only way that this makes sense to me is if you believe he's coming back for Baltimore. And then because you're 4-2, you have 2 NFC opponents between now and then. If you feel like, hey, if we go 1-1 on these, whatever, we can beat Arizona at home with P.J. Walker, and we get him back for Baltimore. I just don't know how you can count on that. What have you seen that makes you think you can count on that, and that he can survive if he does come back for Baltimore? What assurance do you have that he's going to be able to play the rest of the year?
To that point, if you listen closely to what Deshaun's saying, he's not giving any indication of when he'll be back.
No, none.
In fact, here's what we know for sure he has said this year. I don't think I'll be 100% at any point this year.
Right.
Can we play the clip from Bernie yesterday? This is